This is Bells and Whistles Sport in association with Reginald's 31 and Safer Training Solutions. We're outside Carney's Community Centre in Battersea. I'm joined alongside George. George, if our fans who don't know about us and don't know about George, I want you to tell them about the community. Tell them about what you're running here.
Okay, so we run, we've got a community centre. We're targeting the most disadvantaged members of the community, but we're open to all because we want people to mix. And we do mainly a combination of boxing fitness sessions, which are free, youth work, and then long-term mentoring. So what we try and do is, we call Carney's Community because we want to try and replicate a community or create a community for our young people to belong to.
Thank you for that. I've got another question for you, obviously. Tell us a bit about yourself and about Mick, obviously the founder of this.
So my first involvement with boxing was I was working with a couple of young offenders over in Brixton, and they wanted to learn how to box. This was about 18, 19 years ago. And so I looked up Fitzroy Lodge, phoned up Mick, asked if I could bring him down. He said, yeah. Brought him down. He liked what we were doing, so he said we could start bringing him down for free every Friday if we wanted. So from there, we just started to build up the sessions. I think when I walked into the boxing gym, so my background was youth work, I saw much better youth work being done in there by a volunteer boxing coach than I did at all of the youth clubs that I was working at. So I thought, actually, there's got to be something in it. These are people that are passionate, that will give up their time to support others, and it's generally people that's been through the boxing club themselves anyway. So other people have given up time for them, so then they're giving up time for others. So loved the whole idea of it all. Got kind of hooked onto the boxing aspect of it as well, just because it's a sport where you have to control your aggression. You have to learn to control your aggression. People who don't know about boxing, they think it's all about aggression, but it's not. It's about controlling your aggression. And we just saw that there was some really, really positive impact that it was having on loads of people. And then I got to know Mick quite well, and he got me on the board of the committee over at Fitzroy Lodge to try and help do some fundraising. And I just remember interviewing him once for some fundraising and saying to him, what's your biggest success in boxing? Expecting him to say like one of the many world champions he's trained, but he was like, no, my biggest success is helping whoever wants to come in and be a boxer to be the best boxer they can be, and in turn to be the best member of their society that they can be. And that really hit home for me. He then introduced me to Mark Reigate, who was another coach down there, but was also one of his boxers that he'd kind of saved from a life of crime through using boxing. And he kept saying to us we should try and set something up ourselves, with me doing the youth work, Mark doing the boxing coaching. And we did on a very, very small scale. And then when he passed away in 2011, we decided actually we should probably try and do it on a bit of a bigger scale. And we set up Carney's Community, and this is where we're at now. So we're really trying to replicate what he was doing, in that he was using boxing as a tool, as a technique to engage kids, to help them get life skills and transferable skills that can be used in the workplace, and then he'd filter them into opportunities that he knew about once they demonstrated to him that they were ready and they were reliable, consistent and capable of holding down a job.
That's a fantastic story. Actually, that's an inspiring story. Thanks for that story. Obviously, one other question I want to ask as well. How important is youth centres during the summer holidays?
I think during any time youth centres are massively important. I think we live in a society where we've got lots of fractured communities. We always use the phrase, it takes a village to raise a child. Like, it's not just a mum, it's not just a dad, it's not just a mum and dad, it takes a whole community to do it. And youth clubs are central to creating communities and to creating strength within the community. Like, if you go anywhere you go, when there's lots of the community getting together and participating in positive activities, it can do nothing but help society. And with the closing down of lots of youth centres, it's causing loads of problems because these kids have got to go and find somewhere else to hang around, some other people to associate with. The benefits of a youth club: when you go in there, you know you're going to be surrounded by positive role models. When you're out on the streets, you don't know who you're going to be surrounded by role models, but you're not going to guarantee that they're positive. Okay, so if we're going to offer, we need to be offering an alternative to some of those negative role models out there. And And if we don't have youth centres, whether it's after school, whether it's in summer holidays, then we're leaving these kids vulnerable to people who are willing to put the time and effort in to get them under their wings. And I mean, you look at grooming for child and sexual exploitation, for county lines, all these sort of things. There are lots of people out there that are putting a lot of work into trying to attract these young people over to do it. And if you don't have youth clubs and community groups there that are able to combat that and are able to offer an alternative, then you're essentially giving up on these young people, and you're giving up on the opportunities that are available for them.
I fully agree with that. That's something I feel strongly about as well. So thank you for that as well. Thank you. I got another question as well. Also, who inspired you? Who inspired you to? Obviously, you say Mick was a big inspiration for you, but who else inspired you?
So yeah, obviously Mick was a huge inspiration for me. Another big inspiration for me was my mum. Like the reason I'm adamant. The reason I didn't get into more trouble than I did when I was younger, and I didn't go down the same path as some of my friends, is because I had a good mum and a good family around me. And this is what I've learned, that actually a lot of other people don't necessarily have that. But then there's been thousands of other people that have inspired me. There's been the person who first took a chance on me when I was trying to get into doing youth work, Lee Parker, who worked over in Lambeth. He was a great man. He changed loads of kids' lives as well. He was very inspirational. And then bringing it closer today, some of the kids in here motivate me. They inspire me. Like some of the kids who've been through stuff that none of us could even imagine having been through, but they still get up, try their hardest, work at things, and they come out the other end well. So it's easy to look at older people as being inspiration, but in fact I think we've got a lot of inspiration all over the place. We just need to recognise it.
That's very true words there. That's very brilliant. Thank you for that as well. So another question I want to ask you, as you're a boxing fan, who's your favourite fighter at the moment?
Skill-wise, I think it's got to be Lomachenko. I think he's ridiculous. He's unbelievably talented, and I think he's a good example that if you put the work in, then you get the results, and he's put the work in. I mean, initially because of throughout his whole career because of his dad, but as a child as well because of his dad. And his training is far more than just the actual physical training. It's to do with reaction time and education and learning. He shows that actually you have to be intelligent to box. You have to. It's a brain game. It's not just a physical game. So yeah, I'd say Lomachenko's got to be the person who impresses me the most, boxing skill-wise. But we've had quite a few boxing celebrities that we've worked with in the past and that we've met, and I think there's people like Anthony Joshua. He's very inspirational as well. I mean, the way he sort of carries himself, and he definitely does have a passion for the community as well, which is good. And I also think, although obviously he didn't get a good result recently, I do think the way he's kind of come back from it is he hasn't looked to blame things. He's just kind of taken it on the chin. I do think there was probably something else that was going on in the background, but if they've chosen not to say it, then that's their choice, and fair play to them. But we've also had Andre Ward, who came down, and Andre Ward was probably the person who's surprised me and impressed me the most out of the boxers. Who was he gave up so much time to talk to the kids. I think he sacrificed doing a radio interview because there were so many kids that came down to get him to sign, and he was like, no, saying to his agent, look, no, I'm here because of these fans, and I'm not leaving these fans just to go off and do a radio show. So I think someone like that has been like, you've got to look up to someone like him, and he's a very good boxer as well. Very good.
He's actually my favourite boxer, maybe not all time, but one of my top three fighters of all time. The way his defensive skills are fantastic. The way he carries himself out of the ring, very humble. Obviously, recently he doesn't really get too inclined in social media. Obviously, Rich saw Carl Frotzer coming out and insulting George Groves, and he kind of backed George Groves. It shows what kind of sort of man he is, and obviously for him to come out and take his time with the kids, it's fantastic. But that's all today. Belgium was a sport. One more thing I'd like to say, just give a message to the fans if they wanted to come down to come to Carney's community. What would you say to them in the summertime or all year round?
Yeah, no, all year round. So we do free community sessions every Monday and Wednesday. We do the kids, which is 11 to 18 year olds, 5 till 6:30, and then the adults 6:30 to 8. We also have sessions every other day on the week, which we charge people for £5 a session. So if you go on the website www.carneyscommunity.org, then you'll see all of the sessions down there, and everyone's welcome down here. We ensure no matter what, nothing is a barrier to engage in. So whether they've got disabilities or anything, it doesn't matter. We still will open the doors to you, so you're welcome to come down anytime.
Brilliant, you hear that first. Bells and Whistles Sports in association with Reginald's and Safer Training Solutions. Thank you.